college football.
It is that time of year again.
College football, it is back.
Here in Boulder, Colorado, right now is the epicenter of college football.
It's time. It's time. Let's go.
Welcome to RobDaManMedia with co-host Coach Dre.
Oh boy, we back, man. We are back. We got Coach Dre in the building. We got Uncle Steve in the building. Y'all know what time it is, man. It is Friday. Man, how are you fellas doing today on this Friday?
Oh, man, we blessed, man. We blessed. Glad to be here. Another Friday, championship Friday. I know somebody's championship is tonight, and then you got the rest of them tomorrow. So championship Friday, big game in high school down in Georgia with Juju playing against Walker, Buford playing against Carrollton. So that's big. So championship Friday, man, and we glad to be here. Go ahead, Unc.
Hey, I'm feeling real good. I'm like my boy. Just got paid Friday night. Party jumping. They party jumping at the house tonight. Got paid, baby. Always a good thing.
And like Coach Dre said, man, if you ain't doing nothing and you got some time, man, watch that Buford versus Carrollton game, Juju versus Montrez Walker, 2 Colorado commits, signees, I should say, signees. We ain't got to say commitments no more. Signees to the Buffaloes. Watch that game, man. It's going to be a hell of a game. And so with one of those two are going to end up being in Colorado earlier than the other one, just due to the fact that one of them's going to continue to play and one of them's going to be out the playoffs. So, man, what a hell of a way to start a Friday off to have two signees playing against each other. And then we got some more signees playing on Saturday. But looking forward, man, we're going to get into the transfer portal things. We're going to get into the conference games. But I got a question for y'all to start this whole thing off. What impact will Coach Prime make in this transfer portal cycle? And I'm go ahead, Coach Dre.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be big. Now you can pick. You got to pick up a little. It's kids calling up. It's not you going to find kids. It's you finding out what you want. And again, the biggest thing with Coach Prime is you got to fit the bill now. You got to fit all 5 of those characteristics. If you don't, you got to come in and want to be able to be a team player because, again, if you listen to these well-off videos where these coaches are talking, you heard Coach Phil tell you how LaJohntay and Will sacrifice. And that's the biggest thing, I think, when you get on the phone right now with Coach Prime is telling him how you willing to sacrifice. If you a receiver coming from a big school where you had over 1,000 yards and you was the man, hey, we got guys already here that's planted that want to be the man. Now, we might not have a guy that's solidified as the man, but if Amarion Miller is healthy, he going to be the number. He going to be solidified as that guy. No ifs, ands, and buts about that. And when you come here to Colorado, you got to be a team player. Everybody don't fit the bill to be above. Everybody don't fit the bill to be above. So I know a lot of people, I see y'all sending, this kid in the portal, that kid in the portal. Just because he in the portal and just because he was a 5-star and he did, that don't mean he fit the bill to come play at Colorado. And that goes for anything. Sometimes you see some players, they go to certain teams, they might, like, I take Geno Smith, for instance, in the NFL. He gets drafted by the Jets. I think he played for one other team, but he goes out here to the Seattle Seahawks and he finds his niche. He ends up getting paid a good, decent of money. So everybody doesn't fit everywhere. So we don't want every kid because we don't want no poison in our locker room. I think we got the right kind of mix, but we're losing a lot of the characteristics, a lot of the captains, a lot of them guys that got that Coach Prime stamp on them. We still have a JB in there and a Tyler Brown. And now, like you say, the leaders are going to be younger guys. It's going to be Jordan Seaton. It's going to be Cash Cleveland. You get what I'm saying? It's going to be Goldberg and guys like that you're going to be turning to lead these other guys that's coming in And then these guys that's coming in that's done been in college that want to be leaders, they're going to have to show that they can be leaders. Nobody's handing them no leadership role. You're not coming in here like Coach Brown say, every leader ain't no dog and every dog ain't no leader. So that's the biggest understanding that we got to understand, that we don't want everybody. We want to select. You got to fit the bill right now for Coach Prime, and he can be selective on what he wants. And Prime already told you he pretty much know what he going to get, what he want, he going to go get it.
Coach Dre, you hit it. You nailed it. It's all about getting people that fit your program. Coach Prime program up now is this here. You're going to have to produce. You're going to have to be selfless. You're going to have to be professional, and you're going to have to go out there and give it up for the team. That means if he tells you you're going to be playing special teams and you ain't starting and you thinking you should be starting, you better go out there and give it 100% on special teams. What it also means is this here, Coach Dre. This is what I like. Coach Prime now, like you said, has his pick of the litter. He gets to determine who comes into his facility, not being forced. I got to fill these billets. I ain't got number 30 days. I got to put people in seats. He don't have to do that anymore. And the cool thing that people don't realize, this is, and you nailed it. Why is everybody, every time somebody get in the portal, see you need them? For what? That makes no sense. So that's like saying every time you see you're a young lady, every time a good guy get on the mark, oh, I need him. No, you don't. You need the right one. And you got to be like Ray Charles, baby. You got to get the right one. And that's what Coach Prime's looking for. Because what I'll tell you is this one here. If you look at the offensive line, you had at the end of the season, you had 3 walk-ons that was out there on that offensive line. You had 2 for sure because you had Ritz and you had Cash, and then he put someone else out there. That's 3 that's getting playing time that did very well out there playing. So what it tells me is this here. You're not walking in here saying, I got a starting job. Those days are over with. Hill Green didn't walk in and get a starting job. That tells you something. Should he have? Maybe. I would say so, but you have to earn it. But he earned it. And once he earned it, he enjoyed it more. He respected it more. And the teammates respect him. The key for Coach Prime is quality people that has produced in college, because what you don't want to do, and I see people, oh, that guy from Alabama. The guy from Alabama ain't played on 3 games or played 1 game in 2 years. No, Coach Prime want young men that done played 20-some games or 10 or 11 games that has produced numbers just like he got with Hayes. When you see Hayes come over and Sammy Sachs, you know you got production. Those are the players that he's getting. So the future's bright. Just wait on that portal. You ain't seen nothing yet. We got receivers that's coming in going to be starters. You got defensive tackles coming in that's going to be stars, you know. So you might not see it as a 5-star, but they're going to come in and as a unit. Football is about a unit. It ain't about one player. You got to fit your role, like Chidozie. I tell people right now, people don't understand how good Chidozie is. When you got that foundation that takes up 2 blocks, that's how McNeil looked so good. He was one-on-one. Yep. He's supposed to win. He's one-on-one. Come on, people. Chidozie had 2 and 3 people on him. Can you imagine when you saw Chidozie had 1 person on him? People like, man, it was awesome. He was dominating. Yes, that's what kind of player he is. So back at you, Rob, man. The future's bright with this transfer portal, and you haven't seen nothing yet.
All right, listen, this thing just getting started. You still got players that's going to hit the portal after these conference games that want to get ahead of time and don't want to wait, because there is a big change to this year. You only got 20 days. It's not 30 days, right? So that window's smaller this year. The opportunities are smaller. And so if you're a player that's like, you're a starter and you're trying to chase the bag, you got to hit the portal early. You can't wait till when you're done, because the money might not be there. So there are some things, if you want to move around to certain teams, you got to do it now. But I'm gonna have Coach Dre answer this question before we move on. Coach Dre, I heard it's a transfer quarterback possibly coming in front of Juju. You're hearing about that, and they say he's good. Here's what I'll say. I'm gonna talk about it, and then I'm gonna kick it to Coach Dre right quick. When you look at this whole situation, CU has to bring in somebody for competition, but that don't mean it's going to be that's going to push him to start. But that doesn't mean that they come in and start. Coach Prime ain't finna promise you nothing. I'm telling you this right now. If you think you're lying, just go look at Hill Green, right? Remember, he didn't start the season. That you can just look at that situation right there alone. So if you think Prime is bringing somebody in, you're going to have to compete to get that number one spot. You ain't just going to get handed to you. So if you are a quarterback and you are looking at the opportunity, you better want to come in here. You better be here in the wintertime. If you talking about coming here in the summertime and compete for a job, you can go ahead and say your time. Don't even waste your time coming because it ain't going to happen. But go ahead, Coach Dre.
I mean, you hit it on the head, guys. I don't know what's coming. What I do know is that we gonna do what's best for Colorado. Prime gonna do what's best for the University of Colorado. He is a 17-year-old kid. So there is a possibility. Like we say, we already see Walter has hit the portal, so that's one quarterback out of the room. I think right now we still on the roster have 5 quarterbacks on the roster. So yes, I do expect them to get a quarterback out the portal. I don't know who it will be. Even if I did know, I wouldn't tell nobody. But he gonna do whatever best. He gonna do whatever best for the University of Colorado and whatever that may be. Juju got the key, but believe you me, the thought process is for Juju to be the guy. You can kind of go look at Jackson those that first year. So when Coach Prime's first year, he had to play with 2 different guys at quarterback that COVID year because Shedeur couldn't play, right? And so everybody knew Shedeur was going to be the future. So in all honesty, Shedeur got to sit and watch college football games before he got to watch like 6-7 games before he got to play. He got to practice, but he didn't get to play. And I think sometimes people miss that Shedeur did get that opportunity to practice and not play. And so Juju will be pushed. Like you say, it depends on what happens tonight and next week when Juju will get there and be prepared to get ready to go to work. But the kid is going to do everything he can to start. I think he will be pushed by every quarterback in there. Me personally, I think we have the guy on our roster in Ponder, but that's just Coach Dre talking. But I know they're going to push people in because iron sharpens iron, guys.
Facts.
Iron competition makes you better than what you think it is, than you think you are. Because now I know I can't rest on my morals. I can't just, hey, he need me. If I ain't in there, we ain't gonna win. Or if I don't, I know you get what I'm saying. You got to do what's right, and then that's what Uncle Steve hit it on the head. Everybody cried, and you go this place and that place, and that's why we don't do that negativity over here. Oh, here, why is Trevor Woods out there, man? We bring these guys in here. Y'all were the same guys that cried when DJ left and went back to Florida. Said, oh boy, we ain't gonna have no linebackers. Well, we gonna suck at linebacker. Coach Hart can't keep no guys, and this and this and this. Well, if DJ doesn't leave, we never get Hill Green. I'll say that again for y'all in the back. If DJ doesn't leave and go back to Florida State, we never get Hill Green.
Facts.
So sometimes we keep telling y'all, be patient. Good things come to those who wait. Trying to go out there and jump on the first thing smoking, that ain't always the right thing. And like I said, everybody's not a fit to be here. But every position is going to be upgraded. And Coach Prime told you that. Listen, he told you that. I'm bringing in here somebody to replace you. And so if you at home in the bed and ain't getting up to work, if you not working right now, you guys is coming back, ain't working right now to keep yourself up, and these other guys coming here, hey, it's guys, Uncle Steve said 3, but it was actually 4. If Michael stay healthy, Draylon Miller, Cash Cleveland, and Jordan C. And then Cash Cleveland showed you what hard work do. He's a freshman. He on the freshman All-American team. And hey, for all you people that say Coach Prime can't recruit, we one of the only teams that got 2 players on that list, all freshmen. We got 2, us in South Carolina. Georgia don't got it. Alabama don't got it. So y'all keep going to all them big name schools because that's what you want to do, and sit on the bench and hit the portal in your second year because that's all y'all doing. Go ahead.
No, you getting right to the next point where this thing was going to, right? So I'm about to put this graphic up on the screen right quick. And this is a graphic of Texas A&M from 2 years ago. Had the #1 recruiting cycle, right? They had the #1 recruiting cycle. And as you see, all these top players, 5-star and high 4-stars, didn't hit the portal. They still got one starter and they got one person that's on the bench. So it goes to tell you, when you keep chasing the money and chasing the money and chasing the money to go to these universities to sit on the bench, now you're hitting the portal. And I'm going to get into another guy, right? A guy that was recruited to Colorado last year, offensive lineman, who sat up there and, everybody know the viral video where he threw the hat for Colorado, and now you're in the portal a year later. When all you had to do was just come here. You had an opportunity to play. You would have got developed. But, I get it. Everybody wants to chase the money, and I'm not telling you not to chase the money. But sometimes all money ain't good money. And what you're starting to learn is a lot of these kids that picked another school that didn't come to Colorado, that had Colorado in their final two, didn't play last year and hitting the portal now and trying to double back to Colorado. But I'm gonna let Coach Dredd, I'm gonna let Uncle Steve take that one from me because I'm trying to go in too much on the situation. But I'm gonna let one of y'all kick that off.
This the biggest thing is, and when we talk about the money, it's not always the kids. I want y'all to understand, and that's why I don't bash kids or I don't come down on kids. It's young men looking at their family situations and they can change it immediately. And us as a culture, that's why we have to raise our kids and teach them about literacy of money, and that money is, you need money to survive. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. Coach Dre is not telling nobody that. But y'all really look, if y'all go look in the newspaper, y'all go look at the world, the people with the most money got the most problems. Because I go back and I listen to these old people and I listen to these people who came up. And I was watching the last dance the other day, and Scottie Pippen, his brother, said we had 11 people in our, they had 11 brothers and sisters. He said I didn't even know we was poor. I didn't even know we was poor because we had love in the community. Everybody looked out. I didn't even know we was poor, and we put so much emphasis on the flash and the glitz and the glamour and all of this. And Deion Jr. and even Shadota, them guys say, man, y'all can take all this stuff away. I'ma still be who I am. I just like these nice things, but we gotta teach these kids that it's more to it. And parents, we gotta push this. I want my son to be a better man. I keep telling y'all, God bless the dead. If Inez Snead was still living, and this money and this this economics and what was going on and with David or if that was me, she don't want to hear nothing about no money. She wants to know what you can do for my grandson and how is he gonna be a better man. Not about the money, but I don't get mad at kids when you throwing $300,000 and $400,000 around at the last minute for them not to go somewhere. But what I want you to know is a lot of those kids that's taking that money, you see those kids hitting the portal the next year, they didn't play because they were lied to. They were told, they were flat out lied to. They just paying y'all to come. And
how about some of the kids that didn't receive all the money? Or receive just a portion of the money.
Or in some cases, in some of these schools, come to find out, didn't receive no money. So that like, you get what I'm saying? But I don't like blaming kids, but also you got to teach. Again, I always tell y'all, it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. I'm gonna keep giving y'all this analogy. Everybody, y'all just had Thanksgiving, Christmas coming up. Y'all gonna cook all this great food, pies and cakes and ham, chicken and all this good stuff, right? And we get all of this out. We done cooked all this great meal. You done watched us prepare it. And I go outside and I get a garbage can lid with all the maggots and all whatever you got on it. And I put all this food on the garbage can lid. And I say, oh, here you go. You looking at me crazy because of the way it's presented and the way I showed it to you. So like that young man who did that, If you want to go to Oregon, that's fine. But you don't do all of that other stuff because now, look, you're in the portal. And what if Colorado was the only school that came and talked to you? Now you got to humble yourself, and that's why I tell people all the time, every morning in my morning mail, stay humble. If you don't stay humble, God will find a way to humble you. God will find a way to humble you.
Well, I tell them this here, Coach Dre, it's all about relationships. You two hit it. You have to make sure, if you know anything about Coach Prime, people and they can't believe, this is what people don't understand. How do he have so many people in his circle? Because he knows how to treat people with decency and respect. When you don't do people wrong, you're going to always have people coming to you, attract people. And and he makes people feel special. For these young guys, this is what I'll tell y'all. Y'all need to humble yourselves and understand this. You don't have to accept people saying, hey, it's your choice to go wherever you want to go. And that young man had every right to go to where he wants to go. Coach Dre, you nailed it. The only thing he had to do was get on the phone. Coach Prime, I truly appreciate, your opportunity at the University of Colorado. But at this time, what's best for me and my family at this time is to take what Oregon is offering. I thank you so much. Hopefully, if things don't work out, hopefully if you humbly and if I have to get back in there, hopefully the door will be open in Colorado in the future. If that's the case, if not, thank you. I still look at you as a mentor, blah, 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 blah. God bless you. And my mother loves you, whatever the case may be. And when you do that, people are going to be like, wow, he contacted me. He explained what was going on, and he did it the right way. That's what we call doing it the right way. Getting on national television and letting people use you as a prop is not the right way, because now with you coming and you have to go back the reverse way, now all of Coach Prime's circle, in which all of the coaches that he had that respect him and love him, that would have given you an opportunity, you probably closed the door on that. And that's what you don't want to do. So now it puts yourself in a position you're going to be going somewhere where you're going to be probably not wanted as much as you would have been wanted. So the key is this one here. Young people, Coach Dre, I love what you said. That's my favorite Cosby episode when the girl brought her boyfriend up there and presented him the bill. I love it. I love it. It's your presentation, and it's all about presentation. The next thing I'll tell him is this one here. Before you leave a good paying job that you currently have, make sure you have your next current paying job already signed, sealed, and delivered. I ain't saying promise, signed, sealed, delivered before you leave, and leave that job in good terms. And I'll leave it as that. Back with you, Rob the man.
I'm just gonna say this, Uncle Shu, you hit it right down the head, right? It's sometimes the little things, like certain situations leading to big situations, right? You disrespecting Prime, and you don't know who Prime connected to it in the coaching world, because the coaching world is a small circle. You know, the coaches do talk to each other, right? Whether people realize it or not, they do talk to each other. And so if you go out and disrespect one coach, you think he ain't finna go tell his boy, and then his boy ain't finna go tell his boy, like, it's a full connection to that. So just that alone could cost you so much. But I think people forget about that. It's like when the kids say, oh, I got an offer from this school. You don't think a college coach is gonna go back and verify if you really got an offer from that school or not? And if you lying or not?
Every offer has to go through your head coach. Every school has to call your head coach and tell your coach that they're offering their kid, because you're still that person's kid. They have to go through it. And Rob hit it on the head. Everybody coming to kiss the ring at the University of Colorado right now. Everybody coming to kiss the ring of the Don. You understand me? And why? Because I've changed the game of football, and this ain't what they wanted. This is not what they wanted. But everybody got to come sit down and kiss the ring of the Don, and we having meetings, and that's every coach. Maybe not Dan Landon, because Dan Landon going to do Dan Landon things. But you see, and he has the money and he has the backing. But other guys that don't have the backing, look at the University of Indiana. They doing the same thing Colorado doing. You understand me? Look at some of these other universities. You're going to see a lot more Buckies out here in the world of college football next year, because now we got to do what Coach Prime doing, because all they was waiting on was for him to win. Because now you can't sit back and say, oh, what you going to Colorado for? They can't win 10 games. Well, we 1 game away from being at 10, right? Oh, well, he can't win the conference. We right now, if you look at the standings in the Big 12, we still tied for number 1. So all your narratives that you can throw out, and now the biggest thing for the incoming guys is, oh, he don't mind playing freshmen if they do the right thing. Oh, I ain't got to come here in red shirt. You go to Alabama, you at the back of the bus. You go to Georgia, you probably at the back of the bus. You get what I'm saying? It's just, and that's the thing. You got to teach guys. I seen somebody comment say, that's right, it's consequences, good or bad, to whatever you, but if you're respectful in anything you do. We stop teaching young people just free, like, that's my worst pet peeve, is somebody like Uncle Steve standing around, I got an 18 or 19-year-old kid cussing like he a sailor. Like, that never went on in my generation. That listen, we was in the house and we wouldn't be cussing around my mama and grandma and them because we scared they gonna come in there and slap us or something. You get what I'm saying? It's just about the respect. And the guys that's leaving Colorado, they're better young men than most of the young men that you're going out. Again, money don't do nothing but make you more who you really are. It doesn't, like, I hear people trying to come at Travis Hunter's character. For what? Money didn't change Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter, the same guy. Right now, Travis Hunter somewhere, he probably mad because he got to do all these interviews and all that because he want to be somewhere fishing, doing his little videos, and just being a homebody. He ain't trying to go out to no club. He ain't trying to see what the scene look like. And that's the thing that we have to push. And that's the thing that we have to understand is, and then the thing is, we're not going to get every kid. Again, I'm going to say this. We don't want every kid. Again, we so busy talking. If y'all just sit back and listen, y'all, Coach Prime will tell you exactly what he means. He don't lie. Hey, I bring kids up here to see if I really want them. I bring the 5 stars up here, and I know he said, I know within a 5 or 10 minute conversation, hey, you leave him up here for the weekend, but when he go home, don't worry about calling him back, because all it takes is one bad apple to ruin the whole bunch. Yeah. One. That's all it takes. That's all it takes for one bad apple to ruin everybody. So if I can just remove the bad, some people say throw away the bag. No, I'm gonna just get rid of the apple.
We're looking for the hungry 5 stars.
You get what I'm saying? We looking for them guys that and that's the only reason why, me personally, I wish they would get away with just go away with the 5 stars and the stars. Okay, you're just a good football player, whatever. Because it's a lot of 3 stars better than a lot of 5 stars.
Oh, talk.
You understand me? It's a lot of it. Cash Cleveland was a no-star. And he went to one of the best. How you can be a no-star and you go to IMG? I don't get that. Everybody know IMG one of the best high schools in the country. And you don't got no stars?
And you were starting on the line.
But
for the top
now
team.
He's an offensive starter for a 10-win football team in a major conference in college football. So that lets you know right there by itself, if you don't want to hear nothing else, that we have a prime example that your stars don't matter. What you do on the football field. And then it's also, this is the biggest thing that y'all guys have to understand. Being a high school coach, when you have a kid of that magnitude, because I had an Anthony Richardson, not bragging, none of that. But he was our biggest player, our most known player, but he also was our hardest working player. And and when we sat down and watched film on Monday or Sunday, you know what the first thing we would do? He didn't do much wrong, but the first clips we would go find is what Anthony did wrong. You know why? Because if I'm going to get down, if I do this to Anthony Richardson, y'all know what the rest of y'all back here finna get. You get what I'm saying? Because, and now that makes him feel like, that makes all the other kids in their room feel like they're on the same level because Coach ain't playing no favorites. Coach jumping down the throats of everybody or correcting everybody. You see Prime correcting everybody. You see Coach and Hood. Go back again. Y'all go back and watch them first well-off media videos when he first got there and see how many times Coach Prime was correcting them. And before I go back to Rob, I'm going to tell y'all one thing that I tell kids all the time. As long as I'm talking to you, that means I care. When I stop talking, when I stop being concerned, that lets you know that I don't care.
That's facts. So, Uncle Steve, I'm going to kick it to you. How important is it for, a high school kid coming in early and the impact to Colorado? How important is that for the University of Colorado?
It's imperative. It's imperative because if you want to get on that field, before you're able to get on that field, you need to be prepared first. Then you need to get your mind right, and then you need to be ready to compete at the highest level. So in order to do those things, you got to get out there. You got to get, and then you got that altitude thing going on in Colorado too. So you got another factor there to get your conditioning up. Those young men, IMG, they've seen it. The young men at IMG, they've seen it. They come close to what's going to happen at Colorado. But these other football players, they haven't seen what's getting ready to come. This is an NFL-style training that they do at Colorado. They prep this like the NFL. Your uniform have to be a certain way. Your socks have to be a certain way. You can only wear certain type of jerseys, and you have to wear them. That's the NFL. That's straight NFL. That's just one simple thing. And people are like, well, that ain't nothing. Yeah, it is. Because when you're dealing with 18-year-olds, they don't want to do that. They want to have their sock down. They want to have their belly showing up. The ones who got abs want to show those. The ones who, got swag want to lean and have this stuff. It doesn't work like that for Coach Prime. And if you can't do that right, you can't do the simple things for Coach trusting you in the game. And people are like, well, they should be. No, we ain't got individuals in football. We got a team. That means everybody do it the same way so we get the same results. So that's just something that's simple. But with these young men, this is what I see. You have to get in there and let those coaches, even though they're not coaching, but those coaches are looking. And those coaches are making determination of what kind of person you're going to be for his team. And you want to make sure people see you. You want to make sure you're the first one in there. You want to make sure you're the last one in. You want to make sure you're getting that extra work. You want to make sure you're asking the right questions. Don't go in there and talk about no money and what kind of shoes and all that foolishness you got. Because if you do, you're going to be next cycle, you're gone. You need to come in there focused football and school. Get those things taken care of. Get your schooling because that's imperative too for Coach Brian. Coach Brian don't care about, oh, man, I'm the best football player. You better be the best student on the team too. Best student you can be, not on the team. So with all of that being said, Rob, if you plan on getting on that field, Coach Prime is not putting people on a football field that don't know plays. Coach Prime ain't putting people on the football field that ain't in condition. Coach Prime ain't putting people in that football field that are selfish. He tried it one time, and he only did it because, he had limited play. He had limited players, but that will never happen again. Before people who get on that field are going to be people who are ready, and I mean ready. So that's why it's imperative for those young men because it'll give them a leg up on everybody else because what you are going to see, that's the first phase. When the second phase of that transfer portal comes, you're going to see new team members. So you want to be ahead of everybody. You don't want to come in there when that new group come in, that players that really might be at a even higher level. You don't want to be one of the ones behind. You want to be in front. So it's imperative. Back at you, Rob, man.
Hey, Coach Dre, how when you look at right now, we in this break, right, and the players are off, how important is it for every player that's on this team to come back ready to go for this bowl game? And as he's finishing that question, how important is the bowl game to Colorado to Uncle Steve? So, go ahead, Coach Dre.
It's imperative that whatever right now that we still working, it's imperative that we didn't take no days off. I know Coach Prime gave you a break. You see Coach Prime down in Texas. Even your coaches when he posting pictures, he in his weight room getting study working out and doing the things necessary. So I know you better be. It's important that you come back with a chip on your shoulder. All the Big 12 lists did was put a chip on our shoulder. And if I'm coach, that's the first thing I put up. That's the first thing I put up there on the board with the word disrespect. I put the word disrespect up there, and I put that list because that's all that list is a bunch, and I do mean a bunch of disrespect, hands down. And now I want to go out here and prove that Silman Craig is not an honorable mention. He's a first or second teamer. That LaJohntay Weston is not an honorable mention. He's a first or second teamer. That Hill Green is not no second teamer. He a first teamer. Bentley is at least a second teamer. You understand me? DJ McKinney is at least a second teamer. I'll give you the dude from Kansas as the other corner besides Travis. But
Jordan Seaton.
What they should have done, Jordan Seaton is never supposed to be in it. How you gonna be a freshman All-American, but I can't make the All-Conference team? That just don't make no sense. But again, that comes back to just the dislike. That just comes back to the hate. And like Prime said, y'all grown people, stop holding on to the hate you got. I keep telling y'all, forgive people, man. Forgive people. That man said he ain't the man he was years ago. Y'all still holding on to that stuff that he did years ago. Let it go. You obviously aren't stopping him, right? Only thing you doing is hurting yourself and making yourself feel bad. And then guys like us who stay down and show you what consistency will get you, we come back and we look at you, like we told y'all what it was. But it's imperative that we send these guys out on the respect and the tone that Travis and Shedeur are setting in this bowl game. Coach Prime is also finna set that standard to going back to where coach is gonna be like, hey man, the Heisman Trophy winner playing in the bowl game, the Big 12 player of the year playing in the bowl game. These boys ain't shutting it down on their coach. Why you shutting it down on me? Now, I can understand if you hitting the portal because you're making a decision and there's no need for you to stay around. But we need to come back this Sunday with our minds made up, ready to finish this thing off the right way, to get to 10 wins. That's a big step for us. Getting 10 wins this year, winning a bowl game, getting all the stuff that you need to be prepared to do what's right. So Coach Prime gave him a break. I think everybody got to be back Sunday.
Yep.
We need to be back Saturday. Anybody that's listening, we need to be back Saturday. Because I don't want you guys to miss your bowl game in bowl week because you couldn't get back on time. Because Prime will tell you, you're going back the way you just come from. Hey, don't worry about playing in this game. You get ready for next year.
Listen.
And that's the last thing we need. Hey, and all them guys, that was the only part of the well-off video that hurt me to my heart. Hey guys, y'all been doing the right thing with low. Like, bro, come on guys. Come on, guys. Y'all know what the man expecting. Y'all know what he's expecting. 15 minutes. That means you need to be there. If he wants you there 15 minutes, that means you need to be there 20 minutes. Because I'm giving myself a grace period. But again, folks, parents that's on here listening, that starts at home. Hey, I tell David all the time. I tell Rob Rob know what time we get up in the morning. I tell David, I'm not waking you up, player. You gotta want this. You gotta want to get here and get this work. Because I'm not gonna be here every day of your life to make sure you get up and do this and do that. So I just did something that they shouldn't have did. And that just like I say, the first word I put up there, Coach Prime, is disrespect, and then I put the list. Because that's all that list was disrespect.
You and Dre, you hit something on the head. I'm glad Phil Longhost called him off in front of the entire team for the BS. Because you know better, man. I know you're feeling yourself a little bit. Active. Come on, dog. 5 players. I can understand 1 or 2, but 5? I see why you didn't play. It all makes sense.
Rob, I can't understand 1 or 2 because the standard is the standard.
Yeah.
It does not change. You can't tell me you want to be great, but I want to do things average. It doesn't add up. So at the end of the day, the standard is the standard. And if you can put 12 and 2 in them seats 20 minutes before, who are you? Who are you? When you can put 12 and 2 in I ain't even gonna do 12 and 2. When 100 other kids are doing the right thing, why y'all 5 coming in there smiling, laughing, and talking about some, hey coach, where we do that at? Let's get to the bowl though. I'll say this for the bowl. The bowl is huge. It's huge for the players, number one, because now it gives you another opportunity for the nation to see you and say, hey, these boys are for real. It also gives you a chance to say, hey, get a little healthy for these guys so that when they get to the bowl, like the Jimmies, the J5s, they get in there, that explosion is there. They have that big game. You also have it for your program. Every young kid is on there looking at your program, and what you have is this one here. What if Coach Prime brings out a uniform that y'all haven't seen? that visibility, number one. The next thing is you bringing stars out there. You're seeing the whole team. You're going to have some people that, transfer portal and other decisions that they make, but you're going to see his players out there, and they are going to put on a show. So for the players, you get to have scouts looking at you. I tell you something, for the young players, look at what it does for those, the Draylon Millers, your boy Welch, even my man, Seton Express. It gives them an opportunity to say, hey, we're setting the standard for next year. We want you to see what's going to happen next year. We're going to give you're going to get a taste of what we're going to do to teams next year, because it's going to be our team. And that's going to be special for the Colorado Buffaloes. So that's what I think on that, Rob, and back at y'all too.
Let me go ahead and get some of this stuff off because I've saved some stuff. But shout out to Miss D Goddess, one of the first ladies for the $5 super stick. We appreciate that. Do you think you guys go out the quarterback in the portal, or does Prime stick with the freshman that they have on the roster? We kind of already answered this question, but I'll go ahead and answer this question. For me, honestly, personally, I think we got the quarterbacks in the roster. I think Ryan Staub he's going to help Juju in a way to help him develop, right? And understand things at the college level. You still gonna have Shador for some couple practice, but Shador ain't gonna be there for the long term, right? I like Ponder. That's my backup quarterback right now. So I feel like we possibly might lose another quarterback in the room. I'm not saying it will happen, but I just truly think we will. And that we will bring in a quarterback. But whoever we bring in a situation, it's not going to be somebody that's going to be a day one starter, right? They're coming in there. They're going to work to push Juju to where he needs to get to. But you need somebody that's been there, that's been on the roster, that understands what's going on to help Juju get to the next level where he needs to go. Because players understand when there's talent around you, right? They ain't stupid. They ain't idiots, right? And so the best thing you could do is not hate on somebody, but help them elevate. Because guess what? If you help him elevate, guess what? You might get more reps in the game. You might see more blowout situations when you get reps in the game. And there's going to be opportunities on the schedule next year where we have those opportunities for the younger quarterbacks to play. So I think we got the quarterbacks on the roster that we need. We might go out and pick up one quarterback. But you got to keep in mind, we got 105 spots to fill for a scholarship. So you don't have all that unlimited roster that you had in years past. So that's going to play an part to how many quarterbacks you can carry on the roster in certain positions. So if Uncle Steve or Jay want to hit it, y'all can.
The only thing I would say is this one here. I wouldn't spend another $1.5 million for another quarterback trying to get a big-time quarterback coming in there. That's first thing I wouldn't do. Second thing is this one here. With the defense that Coach Prime has coming in, Juju is going to be fine. Ponder's going to be fine. They're going to be a Jackson State team. They're going to be defense and run the football. Play action, little 5-yard passes, utilize the speed to get down the field. They are going to be fine. What I also have is this one here. You have Staub and Ponder. If I'm them, I'm not going nowhere, because for a young man to come in there like if Juju, even if he do start, what if it's a hamstring? What if it's a toenail or whatever the case may be? You might be on that field faster than you could have believed, and you will have the spotlight on you. Your job is to get prepared and be. Oh crap! And be ready like Cash was. That's your.
Go ahead, Steve. Finish.
No, that's it. That's it. Back at you guys.
I'll say this right quick before Coach Ray go. When you look at the offense next year, it's gonna be more towards all the quarterbacks that's on the roster. It's not gonna be catered to just Shador. So somebody come in, you don't have to fit the mold of Shador. You're going to see things that's going to translate for all the quarterbacks to be successful. I'm not saying that all the quarterbacks were successful this year, but when you look at the offense moving forward, they're going to design this for it does not matter who comes in. We need you to, this is your first read, this is your second read, get to your third progression, and move forward, right? That's what you're going to see next year. You're going to see a little bit more play action, more running the ball. So whoever comes in, that's why it's like, do you actually really need to go get a big-time quarterback? Because what we're going to ask the quarterback to do is be a little bit, we're not asking him to be a game manager, but we're also going to help him with progressions and make easy throws and roll them out to a certain side, or, you know, it's going to be something easier to help them get into the floor of the game. That's what I'm going to say. But go ahead, Coach Dre.
Again, man, all y'all got to do is go look at the Utah game where we played Star. That is going to be the offense, more the offense you're going to see. Again, go back to the Jackson State, Shador's first couple of years. He had 1,000-yard rusher. That's the offense you guys are going to see. Again, we are talking and not listening. When you listen to Coach, when you listen to Pat Shermer talk, he told you that Shador knew every play in the playbook. He had full control of the offense. He had the Tom Brady, Peyton Manning offense. That is, I call the offense. Whatever play I like, that's what I'm gonna call. Pat Shermer was saying whatever he thought was a play that could work, but Shador has the ability to check out of that play at any time. Juju, Stars, Ponder, they will not have that ability.
Okay? Hey, take it a step further. Coach Dre. How about all the plays they designed up on the just in the timeout? They come outside, they look at the iPad, and they just drawing up plays. Travis and Shador. That ain't no.
And there's the thing again. There will be no Travis Hunter out there where it's third down and Travis just throw the ball up and I'm going to get it. Now I believe in Amarion Miller. Now don't get me wrong. I think Amarion Miller is that guy. But Travis Hunter is a different type of animal, and he is proven, right? That, hey, listen, I don't care if I'm double covered. I don't care if it's three people out here. Man, throw the ball over here in my vicinity. I'm liable to come down with it. So, again, what Uncle Steve said and what Rob said is right. But, guys, relax. The offense is going to look a little different. I heard one of them, I think Uncle Steve or somebody said, next year y'all going to be crying about we don't throw the ball enough. Oh, why they always running the ball? Why? Listen, now which one is going to be? Y'all get upset if he run it. You get upset if he pass it. But that Utah game that Ryan Staub started last year for Shador, that is going to be more what you see out of Pat Shermer in this offense. I'm with a lot of those. I like Ponder. If I'm Ponder, I'm definitely not going nowhere. And if I'm Staub, I just don't know why you would leave, but I understand. It's another thing y'all gotta understand. Every quarterback that y'all seen jump in the portal, 9 times out of 10, they were starters. Nobody wants to come sit behind Juju.
Oh no.
Nobody wants to come sit behind Juju, guys. They see the picture. You see Shador dropping the keys in his hand. Nobody wants to come sit behind Juju. These guys have two years left. They trying to make the league. They are trying to be on the football field, not over there with the clipboard. So I think our room is good the way it is. If we do go out and get another quarterback, that'll be great. If we don't, that's okay. And again, every kid that hits the portal is not built for the University of Colorado.
Facts. Shout out to Miss E. Will, a member in the building, man. If y'all don't have a membership right now, you better get on it because come January 1st, we're going to a members only chat. We're going to a members only lives, things like that. Now we'll be out to the public, out to the members, view everything, but everything's gonna be more member based. So I'm telling y'all right now, man, y'all want to jump on it right now. But hey guys, Coach Dre, Uncle Steve, are you guys watching the game tonight? And who do you guys win? Who do you guys want to win between UNLV and Boise State?
With me, I just want a good game.
That's what I just want a good game, and I want UNLV defense to show up because I don't want Gentry to go ham, and I got to hear all week about Gentry should win the Heisman. Y'all see what he did in the bowl game. So UNLV, if you're listening, I need your defense to come to play tonight, okay? Because he can get 100, but I don't need him to go crazy for 200 or nothing because I don't want to hear that all week. You know what I'm saying? We got the Heisman sold up, but it's people on ESPN pushing that. He got one more game left, and he go out here in the bowl. Listen, so UNLV, I want your defense to definitely show up tonight, and Gentry can go for 100 and maybe a tub, but and if y'all think that UNLV is not a bad football team, guys, they're not a bad football team. They're a very put together football team. I even think they're finna lose some of their coaches to get some of their coaches finna get promoted to some offensive coordinator positions around the country. So that when people are coming in and plucking your coaches, that means you're doing a good job. And that's the same thing with CU guys. I don't want anybody to get upset if you see any coaches that leave. I'm not saying I know that because I don't think right now I think we're gonna stay intact. But if any coaches leave, it'll be because they're elevating, they're getting promotion to get go somewhere and be better. So, but yeah, I just want a good game. I don't really care who wins. If Boise wins, if Boise loses, they help the Big 12 because then Arizona State might get them a bye. But if Boise win, the Arizona State Arizona State gonna be the number 12 seed.
I just want a good game. Yeah, just a good game, and that's it.
Okay, I'll say UNLV, but I'm gonna be back between two games. So I'm gonna be watching Juju and I'm gonna be watching that game at the same time. So I'm gonna be in between both games. Before you head out, Uncle Steve, let's go through these conference games. Who you got? I'm gonna start with the HBCU, Jackson State versus Southern. I'm taking JSU, but I just want to hear what y'all got to say real quick.
Sonic boom, baby, JSU all the way.
Yeah, TC Taylor and Jackson State. I think Southern gonna come to play. Don't get me wrong, but I just think Jackson got a little bit too much. So I got Jackson State and TC Taylor. Very, very proud of what TC Taylor's been able to do at Jackson State when people didn't give him a chance. So Jackson State.
All right, we got Arizona State versus Iowa State.
I got Arizona State, Scatterboo left, Scatterboo right, Scatterboo up the middle.
Yes, JSU does play tonight. Yes.
No, it's not tonight. It's
tomorrow. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Tomorrow at 1. Tomorrow they play tomorrow at 1 Eastern on ABC, I think.
Yeah.
I got Arizona State. I just think Willingham is a better football coach. I think his offense is way more better. I think Iowa State is one-dimensional, and if they can stop that one dimension, I like Iowa State.
I want any team that's going to allow us not to play in the Alamo Bowl. So that's how I'm taking it. Whoever needs to lose to play in the Alamo Bowl, that's who I want. I don't even care about nothing else. Oregon versus Penn State.
Oregon gonna roll.
Yeah, Oregon. I got Oregon by 20. I got Oregon by 20.
SMU versus Clemson.
I'm gonna hit Clemson. I think Clemson is a more physical team, and that's I think they're more physical. So Clemson.
This is where the conversation starts. If Clemson win, that's where the chaos is gonna start for. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's I got SMU. I got the Pony Express. I just like what them guys been doing down there. That coach has been doing a fantastic job. To be picked, I think he was picked to finish last or second to last in the ACC, and to be in the ACC championship is big. I got them beating Clemson because I just don't trust. I don't trust Dabo.
All right, last game: Texas versus Georgia. Before Uncle Steve get up out of here.
Texas. Because Georgia got Beck playing quarterback. So I got
Coach Dre,
Texas.
I'm gonna say my. I'm gonna let Uncle Steve give his before I say what I got to say.
On which one? Georgia?
Georgia or Texas?
Texas.
All right. Now here's what reality is gonna happen. Some way, somehow, they're gonna let Georgia win this game. Some way, somehow. Watch what I tell you. What I tell you. I want Texas to win. Trust me, I want Texas to win. But some way, somehow, some flukiness is gonna come for Georgia to win.
Not with Beck playing quarterback.
We know. I don't trust Beck to say. Listen, my motto is.
I take that back. Because I want to see Archie myself for Texas. So I don't. Quentin Ewers ain't that much better than Carson Beck. So but I got Georgia. I got Texas.
Here's my motto with Georgia. If you stop them running the ball and you make Carson Beck how to throw the ball, they in trouble. They are in trouble. So I'm with that all day long. But I just think the way the playoff seeding works out, some way, somehow, they're trying to keep that in. Because think about it like this. If Clemson goes to upsets SMU, now you got a discussion. Do you put SMU in or do you put Alabama in? So how do you protect that? Georgia wins.
Alabama in right now anyway, so it don't matter. They gonna find a way to put Bama in. You ain't got to worry about that.
Not necessarily, because Alabama could be out. So we got it's a lot to play out.
They number 10 right now. They ain't even on the brink of being out.
Yeah, but if Clemson wins, Bama's out. That's what I'm telling you. Because SMU is already ranked higher than Bama.
They only gonna let one ACC team in.
But that's the discussion right now. So then you would need something to happen like a Boise State loses tonight, which that's what they all praying for is for Boise State to lose tonight. Because if Boise State lose tonight, now you ain't got to worry about what happens because now all bets are off.
Right. If Boise State lose, then all bets are off.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why they put this game tonight. That's the reason why they put this game tonight where Boise State plays tonight is because Boise State controls what's going to happen in the college playoffs, pretty much. They lose, that changes everything. So there you have it. That's the reason why I look at that game differently because it depends on what happens tonight. If everything plays out the way it's supposed to play out tonight and Boise State wins, then Texas should win. But if Boise State somehow loses, then that's where the chaos starts at right there. So, hey, if y'all got any questions in the chat for me and Coach Dre, you want to come up on the show right now, you can. We got about we're going to take some questions right now. So if y'all got any questions for me and Coach Dre, man, let us know right now in the chat. And if you want to come up on the show, the link is in the chat right now. So pull up on us, let us know what kind of questions you got about the transfer portal and what you guys think about the portal. Now, Coach Dre, what particular position will you be looking for from Colorado in the transfer portal to upgrade?
For me, it's going to be defensive tackle. I know people be saying defensive line, but it's actually defensive tackle. I don't think we need no more ends. I think we deep at end right now. So it'll be defensive tackle in the linebacker spot. Is the one place I think where you need to get some guys in the room. And then I say the receiver room, not because I don't trust what we got. I just think we need a guy with some experience. And that's it. I just think we need a guy that's already played, who's been starting. Because, again, Amarion Miller's coming. I'm back. Amarion Miller's coming off an injury. Baby T.O. is coming off an injury. Cam McHale is coming off an injury. So nobody is really healthy in that room like that. So I think we need a guy. I like the guy from NC State, a few other guys that hit the portal. But I do think those are the three positions I'm looking at in the portal: the defensive tackle, the linebacker, and a receiver that's proven. And a receiver that's proven.
Lexus Drive, welcome to the show. You got a question for me, Coach Dre?
Hi, just not a question, just a quick comment. I was listening to the analysts, I guess you call them, the NFL analysts. So one of them was doing an interview with a committee member. So I guess this word is a little bit more bond than all this other stuff we're hearing. And what they're saying is there's not going to be any changes with the people that are not playing in championship games. So, for an example, they're going to have to make room for 2 teams that are not ranked in the top 12. And those two teams will be the Big 12 champions, but both of them are not top 12.
Yep.
And also Clemson is not top 12.
Correct.
Clemson beats SMU. They got to make room for Clemson in the top 12. And whoever wins the Big 12 championship, they're going to have to make room for them. So that would mean the 11th ranked and the 12th ranked team will be out, which is Bama and Miami.
Correct.
So Miami's, I think, out anyway, and Bama would be out if Clemson beats SMU. I think they're going to keep SMU in because they're ranked higher if they win this championship.
Yes, Ms. Alexis, but see, okay, when you look at that 12, right? They got what they have is they got an ACC team in there, which is SMU right now, which that's who they figure gonna win the ACC. If Clemson beats them, I don't think they put SMU in. I think SMU falls out because it's gonna come down to the money. Who can bring the money? They don't feel like SMU gonna bring the crowd and the money. So they're gonna try their hardest to keep 4 SEC teams in because SEC bring the money. I don't like it. I don't think it's fair, but I do think that's what they're gonna have. Now, if Boise State, go ahead.
That's what they hoping. That's what they hoping right there. Boise State to lose. Go ahead, Coach.
No, I will let Miss Lexi. She was finna say something. Go ahead.
No, that was me talking. That wasn't her.
So I just think that Go ahead. You was gonna say something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just basing it on the interview that they did with the committee member that's on the committee. Because, you hear a lot. We've heard so many scenarios. I've heard if Luke wins, then Miami wins. Then I hear Miami's out regardless because they feel like Bama should go before Miami, which I do personally. I just think Bama is a better team and Miami didn't play. I mean, to me, play somebody, beat somebody, and then fuss about the fact that you may have gotten left out. ACC conference this week, the schedule this week, and that's what hurt Miami. Now, if Miami had just beat Syracuse and took care of business, they wouldn't have needed no help from no committee. They'll be in the play, they'll be in it. Period. Be in. So stop leaving it in the hands of a freaking committee and beat these teams. If you're that good, you should be able to get through your schedule and not leave no help from nobody.
Miss Alexis, are you saying Miss Alexis that be on Coach Hayes' show?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm like the voice sound familiar. That's why I was trying to pick up who what. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Now, how do you feel about Miami not being in the playoffs? Because I think I'm one of them people. I feel like they should be in over a 3-loss Bama team because of who Bama lost to. Not because they play in the SEC. It's because of who Bama lost to. That you lost to a Vandy team that's middle of the pack in the SEC, and you lost to a 75 Oklahoma team, right? Versus who Miami lost to, right? I think that's a big difference. And that's the reason why I'm pushing for Miami over to Alabama. But I understand the Alabama in the situation.
Yeah, I hear that, but I'm a big proponent of not only your record, but who you beat. I mean, if I'm 15 years old and I'm telling you I'm the heavyweight, I'm the best young fighter in the world, but I'm the best who I'm fighting a bunch of 5-year-olds, then, okay, I'm not really that good. Let me go fight a 15-year-old and beat him, and then see if I win the belt. And that's kind of how I look at the ACC and Miami. It's who you beat really does make a huge difference. And with a conference like the SEC, with the exception of the 4 games that are not SEC games, potentially those could be weak games, yes. But when you're playing in the SEC, I mean, even the weaker SEC teams are tough to beat. I mean, it's a scrap. They're not no championship potential teams, no, but it's a scrap every time you play an SEC team, period. And then when you have a rival type game, like Georgia had with Georgia Tech, ratings, records, all that stuff go out the window. It's kind of like the Miami Ohio State. You see what happened, right? Ohio State ranked number 2 in the country. They rival team that they lay an egg. Actually, it's really bad this year. So it's those things go out the window when you do those things. But besides that, it's no excuse for Miami to needed anybody else's help to play off because he had a weak schedule. They typically do because it's weak. Let's just be honest. There's no teams hardly in the top 25 from the ACC. Unless Clemson have a good year, or back in the day when Florida State had one, Lord, they not now. But back in the day when they was having a good year, and Miami, Jesus was a baby the last time they was having good years. So you got to look at that. You can't be beating up on a bunch of 2-year-olds and you 22 and then telling me you the best in the country. I can't buy that. Go beat somebody. Go beat the number one team in the country. On their home plate, like Georgia did in Texas. And I think Georgia gonna have a problem. I agree with you guys winning this because it's hard to beat the same team twice in 1 year. Number one, number two, Texas is home. But I'm just saying, beat Alabama, beat Georgia, and beat those kind of teams, and then come back and fuss if you don't make it. That's my take on it.
But see, the thing people gonna say, Miss Alexis, is the same thing that's what they saying with Ohio State, which Ohio State gonna get in. They ain't who they played. Like the Big Ten ain't really that good except for Oregon, maybe Penn State, and y'all lost to Michigan. You get what I'm saying? When y'all had y'all own destiny in y'all hand, like that's the same thing. So that's what I think the Miami people would be saying, which to me that's the truth. Like I don't think the Big Ten is a great conference with top to bottom. Indiana. I mean, they was okay this year. They showed out, but it's the same thing, and you're going to let Ohio State in. Now, I understand Miami have a weak schedule, but I think that's what the Miami people are saying, and I guess some other people are saying that's in the sports world, that you letting Ohio State in, and then if Georgia get in, Alabama going to say, well, y'all letting Georgia in, and we beat Georgia. So, I mean, that's why I say, at the end of the day, I think they're going to end up having to go to 16 teams, and they still ain't going to have enough space. But to me, the teams with the 2 losses should get in before the teams with the 3 losses, except for in Georgia case because Georgia playing for the conference championship. If they get in, I think they should get in. I think this year Bama should miss. And I understand, but if you put Vandy, this is what I asked you, Miss Alexa. If you put Vandy in the ACC, how many games they win this year?
If you put who in the ACC?
If you was to put Vandy in the ACC.
Vandy is very fickle. Let me tell y'all what pissed Vandy off. I don't know if y'all heard the interview with Coach Saban. Coach Saban, they was asked about an interview with Coach Saban when he was getting ready. Alabama was getting ready to play LSU, I believe it was. And they talked about how tough it is to go to, the LSU and win there. He said, well, it's tough to win everywhere in the SEC except Vandy. Well, he was saying the truth, but he pissed them off, okay? And I think that caused Vandy to take that. That coach probably just put that in the meeting. And caused Vanderbilt to get a little fire on them and play some ball. I have never seen them play so good in the handful of games I've watched them. So I think it got up under their skin. But I don't think, to be honest with you, I think Vandy would look much better in the ACC than they do in the SEC. Because, I mean, there is no top 25 teams in the ACC, not with consistency. Like I said, Clemson had their turn. Florida State had theirs. But other than that, you don't hear about Georgia Tech that we okay, but we not championship material. We feisty, and we ain't gonna. You just ain't gonna come here and just hit us in the mouth, and we ain't gonna hit you back. But they're not championship caliber teams. You can't really say that about no ACC team. Let me say this last thing about Miami, which is why I don't feel sorry for them at all. Miami been getting highly ranked. To your point about Ohio State, I hear your point. Because unless Ohio State is playing Michigan, the Big Ten and all that either. So Miami been getting prepped they've been throwing Miami flowers this entire season. They don't rank them number 3 in the country. They actually gave them the ACC championship before the freaking game was even played. And said,
Yep.
here you go, kisses and love, baby. I'm loving on you. I'm wooing you before the night comes. All you got to do is win. That's what they did. Miami was sitting pretty. All they had to do was just win. So you can't tell me you go get that kind of love from the committee, because I think they was overrated. I told Hayes this. I said, Hayes, I think you were overrated.
They did get a lot of help from the Zebras too.
Yeah. Remember the 3 miracles they had to pull out? Cam Ward had to turn into Superman, or we wouldn't even be having this conversation about 2 or 3 games. Let's just be real about it. So you have to look at all of that. Not just the fact that you won. How did you win? And who did you play? So if you look at all of that, Miami was sitting real pretty, all things considered, and all they had to do was win. They didn't even have to win both games. Just beat Syracuse or just beat Georgia Tech, whichever one. But they in. They in the ACC championship and in the playoffs.
Hey, let me answer this to Harder Sports. I disagree with that so hardly, because the SEC is not what you think they are this year. They're truly not. The SEC teams can be beat by Big 10, Big 12, and the ACC. They've proven that this season that they can be beat. It's just when you start putting other variables into play with the Zebras, helping some of these teams, SEC teams win. Some of these teams were flat out getting whooped up on, and the Zebras came in and helped the team win, so the SEC didn't look bad. That's how it's been this year. But there is definitely, when you look at the scenarios of how this worked and moving forward, the just the overall like movement with player movement right now, the playing field is about to get even. So the SEC won't look as dominant over everybody as they used to in the past.
But here's the biggest thing, y'all. I don't think people really realize that the college committee also was trying to make the SEC and the Big 10 happy, because they were seriously talking about making a super conference, 2 super conferences, and just blocking the NCAA out. The Big 10, the SEC was seriously talking about making a super conference, 2 super conferences, and that'll be the national champ, because we gonna go get the best teams that we can get in these 2 conferences, and that's what we was gonna do. So right now the NCAA is just trying to see fit to make everybody happy. You're gonna never make everybody happy.
Facts.
Like Miss Lexa say, that's the one thing I respect about Coach Prime. He told y'all, I'm not finna go home and wish nobody to lose for us to get in the playoffs, because we had our chance. We had an opportunity in our hand, and we fumbled the ball, and we got to live with that. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I respect Ms. Lex for saying, hey, I don't feel bad for Miami if they don't get in, because they had the opportunity. All they had to do, they was up 21-0 on Syracuse. And I don't know what they did at halftime, but the same team didn't come out. And she said some other stuff like, in all honesty, Miami could have already had 2 or 3 losses before they got there. So it just comes down to I think this is my conclusion to it. I think the 2 teams that make the conference championship should automatically get in the playoff. That'll put an end to a lot of stuff, because you'll have 8 teams in there. You'll have 10 teams in there, and you only have 2 at-large berths right now. You get what I'm saying? If everybody who made their conference championship made the playoffs, you'd only have 2 spots left to have to pick through it. So that's what I would do to kind of ease some of these people's minds, because anything is about winning. You got to win your conference. In high school, with high school guys, you got to win your district. If you don't win your district, you can't make the playoffs. You're not guaranteed to make the playoffs. So I think that's what it should be. Go ahead, Miss Alexa. You got something to say?
Yeah, I totally can agree and accept that if they make the decision to do that. I mean, if anybody got into crying to do, I want to cry for. I think Georgia and Florida State got screwed real bad last year. I can tell you why Georgia got screwed, because Nick Saban was on his way out the door, and the committee was not going to let Georgia even compete to win no 3 championships in a row, because even the great Alabama had not succeeded in doing that. So they weren't going to let that happen on his watch. Matter of fact, they wanted him to walk out with a championship, which is why they put Alabama in there last year. But he fell short. 4th and goal, he couldn't get score and beat Michigan. And he walked out without that. So they gave him the opportunity to walk out with another award in his hand. I think they were covered for that. And Florida State was undefeated. They didn't lose to nobody. And still got looked over.
It was about the money. They just knew they couldn't. Yeah. They couldn't sell it. They couldn't sell the game no more because they didn't have. Again, that's what it's about for the NCAA. It's about the money.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, it's about the money, and that's why they trying to find a way to get Bama in, because Bama gonna bring money. And
even Nick Saban said Bama don't deserve it this year. He said it. He said they 3 losses and how they lost, and who they lost to. And he said the same thing about Ole Miss. He said, I have to be honest. He said the only 3-loss team that I may vouch for to get in this playoff is Georgia if they lose to Tennessee, only because they got in the championship game. Only because they got in the championship game.
I'm right with South Carolina.
None of them,
I will vouch for South Carolina right now, because them boys they smoking over there right now.
Yeah,
but they never get them. They're
late to the party, but they at the party. Yeah, they played.
They're a little late to the party, and that's why I say at the end of the day, if we just put everybody that made the conference champion in, you'll have 10 teams, right? And then you will just have to pick 2 more teams. But again, them 2 teams that they're gonna pick is gonna be about who can draw money, because it's a revenue split right now with these games that they have, and this ain't all just whoever when they play this home game, they got to split that money with the NCAA. It's not like they just straight getting that money.
They gonna force Notre Dame to go to a conference. You ain't got to worry about it. They ain't gonna be able to be independent too much longer.
They should.
Right? Yep. They should. Notre Dame should not get a free pass every year, because they can make the weakest schedule they want, go undefeated, and then you automatically get in the playoffs. That's just not fair to everybody. Because if that's the case, then everybody should be able to be an independent, and y'all just pick like that ain't fair. So yeah, I don't believe that's cool. I wanted them to lose another game, because that would have put another spot in. Because again, you're not doing anybody no justice with doing it the way y'all doing it right now. But again, I would put the two loss team, because right now the Big Ten gonna get 4. The SEC they gonna try their hardest to get the SEC to get 4. Notre Dame, Boise State, whoever win the Big 12, and then somebody else.
Whoever win the ACC.
Yeah, whoever win the ACC.
Whoever win the ACC. That's what I'm saying. The Big 12 and the ACC gonna get treated like secondhand when everybody did the same. This is my only thing, Miss Lexus. Everybody did the same thing in their conference. Everybody beat up on everybody. The lesser teams end up beating the best teams in every conference this year, right? Everybody got beat, so everybody on the same playing field. So let's treat it that way. We shouldn't even be talking about Georgia, and because if you don't talk about Georgia and Alabama and South Carolina, Alabama in, because they only got 2 losses. You get what I'm saying? Them 3-loss teams, them teams with 3 losses, we shouldn't even be talking about them. Y'all lost three games. I don't care who you played, you lost.
Right. I can hear that.
But I understand what you're saying about who they play. It goes about who you play, and I understand that, because it is about who you play, but you only can beat who on your schedule. And a lot of these schedules are made 2 or 3 years out. So you can only beat who in front of you.
Agreed. I understand that. I just say I don't know how the schedules are made and who makes the decision. I hear Athletic Red. I've heard it all. But whoever does, if I'm a school like a Miami or whoever, it don't matter who it is. I don't want to just keep picking on Miami, because I'm cool with Miami. I wish them well. But whoever it is that you in a conference that don't, let's just say, produce top teams, then you might need to try to play a couple of games here and there with teams that got a little spunk in them. To be honest, to say, okay, we did whoop this team, because that's what the committee man. I sat there and listened to that interview, and that's what the man with that committee, the whole thing. That's all he talked about. Who they beat
from Michigan. You're talking about the AD from Michigan. That's who it was.
I'm talking about the committee member that was on doing the interview.
He's the head of the committee. He
Yeah.
on the committee.
Yeah, and he was saying they were looking at the schedule real strong. I mean, so if they're gonna look at, it's kind of like a referee. You know how the coaches would tell you if a referee is gonna call a game this way, we got to adjust and play like this because we know they calling it tight, or we know they letting them play, or whatever the case is. Same thing with a committee, because I understand this committee be changing up from year to year. So if a committee gonna look at strength of schedule as a big deal, like a really big deal, maybe even over record, let's say, then you need to understand that as a school and say, listen, we need to play some teams that got a little bit no competition to them. We need to go play the national champion, maybe. But somebody. If I look at Miami's schedule, I mean, I can name a whole lot of teams that probably would have went undefeated going away if they had their schedule. So it's like,
yeah, but this the thing with Miami though, and like you say, I agree with what you said earlier. Miami, they had told Miami was a shoe-in for the playoffs this year. From the beginning of the year, they was a shoe-in to win the ACC. They were supposed to run away with the ACC. It wasn't even supposed to be close, right? So I can understand, okay, y'all fell short. Y'all not even in y'all conference championship game. But when you talk about putting another team in that's got that's 9-3, to me, and I understand it's Bama. And the reason I know it's gonna be Bama is because they want Bama because of the money. You get what I'm saying? But when you hear, like you say, when you hear Nick Saban and how much he got love for Alabama, say Alabama really don't really need a chance to get in, that's what it comes down to. But I think Sunday it's gonna be some hurt feelings come Sunday.
I'll say this really quick. Miami was even getting credence over SMU. Even though SMU was winning, undefeated for a long time, Miami was getting the shine, all the flowers, all the love, all the rankings. So they had literally put them in that spot and say, here you go. Just win. Just win and you win. Congratulations. I mean, mid-season, we just knew it was Miami until they faltered at the very end. They lost their last 2 out of 3 games, and that just looked ugly when you do that.
Miss Lex, I didn't think that when they should have lost that was the third game when that boy caught the ball in the back of the end zone. They said it wasn't no touchdown. That's when I felt like I just don't know if Miami is what we think they is.
I told Coach Hayes, I said they overrated.
It was more of the Cal. The Cal game got me. And then, you know what I'm saying, when those, it was a wrap. But let me hit this breaking news right quick. Breaking news right now. Morgan Pearson is going to hit the transfer portal. Another guy that's leaving on the University of Colorado right now. So Morgan Pearson, as you guys see on the screen, is hitting the portal. Like I said, we're gonna see some people that's gonna hit the portal. Just be patient. They're gonna clean some room for some new players to come in, but we just got a player that hit the portal. So I just want to put that out there. But go ahead, Coach Trey, Miss Alexis. Sorry, I just wanted to drop that in there because it was something that just happened.
No. This is your show. I just thank you for having me on. I want to say regarding the Alamo Bowls, guys, here's my understanding with it, that even though they are now Colorado, speaking of them, as now Big 12, they have to, for this year and 2025, play Pac-12 bowl games. And I understand that Alamo gets the first right of refusal. So if the Alamo Bowl gets the first right of refusal and they don't pick Colorado, get the first vote, right? Get the first, select, and they don't pick Colorado, then I am going to want to know what they smoking. So with that being said, even though some people don't like it, Colorado probably will end up in the Alamo Bowl, and the rumor has it against BYU because they didn't play them. I don't know.
It depends on who wins the Big 12 championship game, because we don't necessarily have to play in that game. And so that's the reason why nothing officially has come out, because the Big 12 championship game still has to be played. So depending on who wins the Big 12 championship depends on if Colorado goes to the Alamo Bowl. So we might not have to go. And if we don't go, we're definitely going to the other bowl. So we don't want to go to Alamo Bowl.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, and it's kind of like with Colorado. I mean, I hate it for them. I am a big time I'm not gonna say Colorado fan because that would be a lie. Big time Coach Prime fan. Been following that child since he's been playing. I was watching football in Pampers and following him, and I'm hurt by the loss, but I respect, to your point, Coach Dre, what Coach Prime said about it. Said, listen, we had the baby in our hand and we dropped the baby, and the baby didn't make it, right? So you let Kansas. I mean, I couldn't even watch that entire game. I mean, I was like, oh my goodness, what this Neil boy, he need to leave. He need to leave right now and go play for somebody in the NFL. That's the way he looked, right? He may not be that good, but that's the way Colorado had him looking. Literally ran all over them, and all they had to do was beat Kansas, and they in the Big 12 championship game. So it's like, I say the same thing about Colorado as much as it hurts my heart. You had it. You had the Big 12 championship in your palm of your hands, and Coach Prime said it, and you dropped it. So he said, I'm not going home and watching no TV and be cheering for nobody lose and all that foolishness. If it happens, it happens. Of course, he'll take it if you get in. But I agree with him. Sometimes you got to learn to take them licks when you didn't do what you should have done when you had the opportunity to keep it out of the committee hand, because at all costs you want to keep it out of the hands of the committee. I don't care who you cheer for, whatever football team it is. You don't want them to have to vote, because God knows what they're gonna do.
Right.
Only God knows.
Right, and that's the point I think that we making is, if that's why I say you take a lot out of the committee hands if you just say, hey, if you make a conference championship, you in the playoff. Because I think it was teams that was hoping that they didn't have to play in the conference championship so they could be in the playoffs.
Ohio State,
teams who was literally like, okay, if I don't play in the conference championship, that's good. Should have a lot more weight to the committee. I see my Unc back. Go ahead, Unc.
I don't know what's so cool about this one here. We get to talk about what's right and what's wrong. But when people who get to make the rules, they always decide who gonna break the rules and who moves the goalposts. Because what they're gonna tell you, we just need to give them something to pacify them. Because at the end of the day, people who are doing this here, it's all about that thing that's green, that Benjamin Franklin. It's about the money. And we're going here, we're talking about what's right. What's right means absolutely nothing. What's right for their pocket means something, because that's what they've done from the beginning of time. So it's a great conversation, and it's a great conversation because you are talking about teams who actually deserve to get in there. But when you have a committee who, just like Coach Dre said, you can stop all of this foolishness. If you didn't make your conference championship, what are you talking about? I don't want to hear nothing. You didn't make your conference championship. Let's do it the right way. Force teams to go and play for their conference championship and actually play in the game, because it means something now. It means that you're going to the playoffs, and then it solves everything. Because the other teams, if you want to cry, make your conference championship, and then you're in. And I'll just leave it as that. Back with you, Rob, the man.
Also, Mr. Lexus. Go ahead, Mr. Lexus.
Yeah, I was going to say, I totally agree with that, because it'll take at least majority of it out of the committee's hands, because I can't stand these decisions these committees have made it over the last couple of years. I know they've been switching up, but it don't matter. It still didn't get no better. They have been switching committee members. So to me, take it out of their hand at least as much as possible. We know they're going to have some say. That's why they're sitting in there, right? But take it out of their hands at least as much as possible by saying, because I'll be honest with you, as a Georgia fan, guys, y'all got to understand, I'm born, bred Atlanta. I'm going to cheer for Georgia no matter what. And I have a nephew that's an alumni that has me wrapped around his finger. So if I don't cheer for Georgia, I don't live. So I gotta cheer for. So as a Georgia fan, I had to say, I hope Georgia don't make the SEC championship, because they could potentially lose a third game. And God knows they lose a third game, the committee won't pick them to be in the playoffs. I was one of those people, to your point, sir, that was saying that, Uncle Steve. So I get it. So make that championship game relevant again by saying, get there, you're in. And if you don't, and then we'll have to pick a couple more teams and let it be that. Yep.
And Mr. Lexus, you proved the point of what I was saying. Georgia's going to beat Texas, because then you can't say they can't get in. Texas are automatically in, so
Texas is in no matter what happens. Georgia, they claim Georgia's in regardless, but I'm nervous about it. I don't trust the committee. Okay, so I'm like, Georgia, just win and stop putting it in their hands.
Miss Alexa,
That's it.
Miss Alexa, you trust Carson Beck this weekend?
I don't trust Carson Beck no week, but I don't have no choice because they won't put whoever else in. I want to find somebody on the corner that can throw a football and say, "Can you go play for Georgia, please?" Because he has frustrated the hell out of me, and I just can't take him, which is why sometimes I can't even watch the full Georgia game. I mean, one of them, the Alabama game, I was at a sports bar with some friends and I got up and left. I'm so glad I drove my own car because I said, I can't watch this mess. This is for a bunch of foolishness. And so it shocked me when they even came back and got the lead, even though they lost. That was one of the best games they had all year, even though they lost. I mean, really, seriously. Well, best second half. Let's say that. Let me correct myself. Because the first half, they played like a bunch of kindergartens. So he frustrates me all the time. Coach, when Georgia finally scored, when Georgia Tech was up on us 17-0, Coach Kirby Smart went for 2. And I'm like, does he not understand math? We're in the third quarter. What the hell is he doing? I'm going down to the Atlanta Social Security office and change his last name to idiot. Because I don't understand how the hell he go for 2 ups with the score 17-6. And it ended up being the reason at the end of the day that we had to go to overtime. Because that last touchdown drive would have been for the win. You just kicked the extra point, old whopperhead, man. And we win the game in regulation. We don't even go to overtime. Now Georgia Tech, I take nothing from them. They played their behinds off. They really, really did. I think they played us stronger than they played Miami. So all props to them. I'm not saying that to that. I'm just saying that was a stupid decision that early in the game. We're in the third quarter. Only God knows what's going to happen with 2 more quarters left in a football game. And you make that decision. So, yeah.
Try to call Mrs. Lexi. Try to call. We might need to have you on the show more. Hey.
No, you guys got this thing way better than me. I like to listen to you all. I learn from you all when I listen.
Stop it. Hey, you done changed the name from smart
hit
to
that
idiot.
thing on the head. Yeah, I mean, you hitting that thing on the head. Because when you hear most people talk about Georgia, they like to say Beck, he good. I to hear Georgia fans say, hey, I don't see what they be looking at. Like, I don't get it. I don't get.
They got the crazy part about it, they got QBs behind him that I feel like better than him. But what do I know?
Me too. I said the same thing.
They got Rashada, but again, I mean, I understand Beck done took y'all to the promised land, so I can understand why they don't put Rashada in. But at this point, I don't know. So what's y'all chance of going to the national championship right now, Miss Alexa?
This is, like I said, this is why I'm so upset, guys, and I hate to dwell on the past, but so I'm not going to dwell. I'm going to say this and leave it alone. This is why I'm so pissed off at this cotton picking committee for not allowing Georgia in when they deserve to be in. I'm going to say deserve because I don't care how much of a fan I am of you. If you don't deserve something, you don't deserve it. I can say the same thing about Colorado. There is no bigger fan on this planet living and breathing, except maybe his children, the Coach Prime than myself. It just ain't. Except maybe his children and people that are really close to him, right? But I can't sit up here and say Colorado deserved to be in the Big 12 championship because they didn't do what they needed to do to get there. You didn't beat Kansas. And Kansas was a better team than their record. And I think people took that for, that's why sometimes you got to go blind to them records. You got to go blind because teams like that will be the ones that come up and bite you. I think it's more upsets in football than any other sport for that very reason. Because you got to remember, even if I'm the underdog, I only have to beat you one time. In basketball and baseball, I got to beat you 4 if I want a championship. I mean, I got to upset you 4 times. Football, I just need 1 point more than you one time. You can have the best team in the country. Give me the championship trophy. So I think Georgia's chances are really I'm nervous. I really am nervous about it. I'm not going to sit up here and say I think they're the best team in the Big 12 because I mean, in this playoff realm, I think they deserve to be in the playoffs. Yes. But to win it, I mean, it's a whole lot of stuff going to have to happen. Y'all know that. Y'all know this better than me. Football is skill and coaching and playing and a whole lot of luck. Like I said, Miami, we wouldn't be talking about Miami if they didn't have the football guards for them for 2 or 3 games this year. So, we'll see what happens. But I wish him well, that, but I don't know.
Hey, go ahead, Coach Ray.
I
Mr.
mean,
Les
I
is
mean, that, I
cooking.
mean, that she really is, and to have a lady up here talking football, it's great to see. And I really appreciate you coming up and speaking with us and talking with us because, like you say, and I hope it's if any other ladies out there and they want to come up and talk. We told you, man. Like I say, I don't know. I can't speak for no other show. I can speak for us. We gonna always respect what you saying. It's gonna always be respect. Ain't nobody in our comments gonna talk about you crazy. It's just about the respect and she talking facts right now. Cause like you say, we can be as mad. Like I say, I'm not. I'm just not a negative person. But what she's saying, that's not negative. She just being honest. We had opportunity to be in the Big 12 championship. We didn't play well against Kansas. We didn't. Now I feel like Kansas went out there and laid down the rest of the season after they played us. But you get what I'm saying? That was their Super Bowl. That kid, again, if you sit back and listen, Kobe told you, hey man, I heard this game circled all year. And like Miss Leslie said, you can't go by people's records. And Kansas wasn't healthy at the beginning of the year. And so they started getting healthy there towards the end of the year. And that's when they came up with those 3 wins, those 3 big wins at the end of the year. But, like I said, I just want to take this out of the committee's hand altogether. If I'm the NCAA, I make Notre Dame go get in a conference because it's not fair what they're doing, that they're taking up a spot. And then, like you say, if you make your conference championship game, you in the playoffs. And then it's only 2 spots left, and it is what it is with them 2 spots. But make
Notre
a
Dame,
conference championship.
yeah, just Notre Dame being in a conference will solve a lot of this BS right now. You know what I'm saying? The way this landscape is, it's not what conference do they put themselves in, right? If they smart, they probably go to the ACC if they smart, right? Where they got their basketball team at, but we'll see.
Hold on 1 second, Rob. I just seen somebody ask. If you want that answer, go watch the this last well-off video that just posted with Bucky's video,
Yeah,
and
he in the
it'll
booth.
answer your question. If he hurt, he is hurt. He in a boot. I think we said that, and I'm not trying to be rude. I promise you, I'm not. I'm just saying I don't like talking about kids unless he hurt. He hurt. That's the only reason he didn't play the last game is because he is injured. And he's been injured a lot this season. He really is. He's been fighting through injuries all year. Uh, Big shout out to Mama Benson because she's a straightforward parent, and she raised her kid right, but he was just hurt, so that's why he couldn't finish. He couldn't finish the game, but he did show his boot in the last. That's why I say go watch the last well-off video when it's Bucky's birthday and he at the party. He's in a boot. So yeah, he probably
Uh,
won't be playing the whole game as well.
I'll say this: Khalil Benson took a lot of heat this year for a person that wasn't healthy, and it was, it's not right for me to go out and discuss, what injuries or whatever that he was going through. But me knowing the family, me knowing Mama Benson and Khalil, you know what I'm saying? That's why I never publicly put nothing out. When he showed what he showed, all right, we can talk about it. But he wasn't healthy majority of the season, and he took a lot of heat but for him to go dress and still try to go out there and fight with his brothers, that's got to be commended, and so it's part of the reason why he got took out the starting lineup because he wasn't healthy and he was trying to fight to come back and give everything that he had in the tank. But only thing you can do is, man, just pray for full recovery from him. Let's get him healthy and and move on from there. And so that answers probably the majority of you guys' question that you guys been asking: is he gonna come back or is he not? Y'all answer to yourself. He was hurt, so what do you think he'll do?
Well, you have to also look at it too. If he's in at Bucky's birthday party, let you know he in the circle and he ain't going nowhere. It's one of those things that I'm just saying. That's just what I'm looking at. It lets him know that he's still thought of well as far as within the group, as far as the team. So that's a good sign. And I just look forward to him getting healthy because when he's healthy, he makes a big difference.
Hold on, Rob. Let me answer that. I seen a question earlier. A guy asked about how can you get into college coaching.
Oh,
But you
I
gotta
got.
the
Go
first
ahead.
thing is you probably got to be a grad assistant to work your way up. Grad assistant, you can go to school and it's like being an intern. It's like being an intern. And you'll be in school, you'll be like a student, but you'll be learning the ropes of being a coach and stuff like that. So that's what most guys start at, being a grad assistant. Or you can start at the lower ranks. You can come and coach high school football, and it's a lot of guys that started in high school football that's how they made it to college. I think the Ole Miss coach, Hugh Freeze, for guys that people that don't know, if you go watch the movie Blindside, he was Michael Orr's football coach. That was his head high school football coach, Freeze. So he moved his way up through high school and moved his way up through the ranks. Gus Malzahn is another guy who he was the man in high school football for a long time, and it was winning, and he moved his way up. So man, and then the biggest thing, this is the biggest thing though, you got to have a purpose, young man. To coach, it's not about wins and losses. It's about, is this your calling? I tell people all the time, I coach football not for wins or losses, but to change lives of young men. So you got to have a purpose to coach football, because at the beginning, it's going to be a lot of long hours for not a lot of pay. But your pay is to see these young men and what they become. And to see these young, I know you hear me talk about Anthony Richardson all the time, but he's just one of the stories for me. I got a whole bunch of other stories of men that I've coached in high school that have made it. They're great husbands, great fathers, great men in the community that I can commend, and that's the biggest joy out of coaching. So you got to have a purpose to coach. You got to want to coach and make better young men, or whatever you decide to coach. That's also with girls, with any sport that you coach it. You got to have a purpose, and it can't be for the fame. It can't, because most head coaches, I tell people all the time, most head coaches, they sign up to share the fame and take all the blame. And that's the one thing I respect so much about Coach Sanders, is he really gives out the flowers when they're winning. And we as people, I think we put down coaches way more than what they need to be. Coaches are real unsung heroes, if you really want me to be honest with you, because they're not only coaches, they're counselors, they're people these young men confide in when they don't even sometimes can confide in their parents. They come and confide in coaches. And so you're a lot more to young men than you are to anything. So you got to have a purpose to coach anything, and especially football. You got to have a purpose, because you got attitudes, you got egos, especially with these young people today, and you got to know how to handle them. And like you say, I'm just an old school coach. I tell my kids all the time, I show out where you show out. So where you want to show out at, now if you want to be, now you know what I expect from you. Now, if I walk up on them at school right now and they got their pants pulled up, they know Coach pull down, Coach Dre gonna pull them up right down. I don't care if you're in front of no girls. I don't care where you at. Because you know I ain't going for that. You get what I'm saying? But that's the biggest thing, man. You gotta have a purpose, and that's the biggest thing for why Coach Prime is successful. It's because he's living in his purpose. I tell people that all the time. Everybody that's listening to the sound of my voice, and everybody in this world, they have a purpose in life. You got to find it. And once you find it, you gotta live in that purpose, and you got to build off it. And right now, that's all Coach Prime is doing. And that's the reason why I know he's going to be successful. Not because of all the glitz and the glamour. It's because of what he does for young men. When you look at a Cash Cleveland, and you look at a Charlie Offerdahl and guys like that, where you see that going on at? I'm gonna ask Miss Alexis. Miss Alexis, do you know how many walk-ons at Georgia get that kind of treatment? I'm just asking, because it's another fan base here, and she can, like, do you see that at Georgia?
I will say this, speaking from, I didn't go to Georgia. I have a nephew that attended Georgia, and I'm like really close with him. And I will say that his experience, and there's a million students seem like that went to that school. So Lord knows I'm not trying to speak for all of them, but I can speak for his experience because I was a more intimate connection with him. His experience was very good. He actually got to meet Coach Kirby Smart, even though he didn't play sports at all. And he said that Coach Kirby Smart was a player's coach, if you will. That, cared, to your point, cared a little bit more about, of course he want to win. You gotta win at Georgia. You don't win at Georgia, you lose your job. It's just that simple. Some schools don't have that demand. Georgia's one of them that do. And so of course he wants to win. Winning is a lot, and it means a lot to him. But he according to my nephew, has this care and concern for those student athletes. Because although my nephew didn't play, he had good connection with some of the players that did play. And actually was for a while kind of roomed with one of them, one of the players. So players like that, like Nick Nolte, I think they went to the Philadelphia Eagles. My nephew was close to him. I think he came to one of our Thanksgiving dinner. They was really cool, and they spoke well of Coach Kirby Smart, which is outside looking in, because I don't know the man. So I'm just gonna say outside looking in, give me respect for him as a person. To your point, Coach Drake, because I love what you just said to that gentleman. As a person before a coach. Now I have a respect for Coach Prime as a person above a coach. The kind of man and character he has. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's made mistakes in life. We get that. But I'm just saying, in general speaking, what he stands for and stands on. And just from the information that I've gotten from people that do know Coach Kirby Smart, he does have those tendencies. And so I can only give respect for that. And at the end of the day, if he don't win, he's sitting at the house with us, watching these games. So he has to, of course, he has to want that too, for that team because of that.
I'll say this to Push and Peace. How much are you willing to sacrifice in the coaching world? Because that's going to be the tremendous thing. You ain't gonna have a lot of time with your outside family. You're gonna see your players and staff. You're gonna be around them more than you're gonna be around anybody. And don't be afraid, because everybody feel like, oh, I'm chasing a Division I job. But are you willing to take that D2, that D3, that NIA job, sometimes a JUCO job, to show your worth, to get pushed up to another level, right? Because great opportunities come from the lower levels to help you get to bigger opportunities. A lot of people they want to be a GA at a Division I, but sometimes being a GA at a D1 don't always give you opportunity or bless you to go coach somewhere else. So I would say, in the sense of, in the realm of coaching at the collegiate level, look at the Division II. Look at, Division III. I don't know what people's finances are, because those type of situations, your financial situation you got to be financially set to be able to take something like that. But the opportunities will be there. They will do internships at Division I's, but at the Division I level, it's much harder to become a full-time paid coach unless you know somebody. But there will be opportunities that be given at the Division II, Division III, NAI level for you to become a coach and for you to get your feet wet and move on and master what you're trying to get done. Because everybody has a different plan and everybody has a different purpose. So I'm not sure what your purpose or what level you're trying to coach at. But when you look at under the Division I level, there are so many opportunities that people just pass up that's out there that's being given, that they begging people to come coach. And it's opportunities there. That'd be the last thing I'll say to it.
You got anything to add, Uncle Steve?
This is what I add to the young person there, or anyone. You got to build a foundation, and you're going to hear me say this over and over, and Coach Dre hits on it all the time, and Rob, relationships. I don't care how good you are as a coach or want to coach. If you can't get along with people, you won't be doing it long. So the key is relationships and making people feel comfortable around you. And then you got to have character, because as a coach, you're put in a lot of positions. If you go and look at stuff, you're going to be put in positions where you're going to see a lot of pretty people. You're going to see a lot of money going in situations. There's a lot of things. You're going to get a lot of people pat on the backs and stuff like that. You're going to get a lot of mothers coming out there. You're going to get fathers coming out there. Those are things you're going to have to understand that are traps. So your character plays a big part. So for me, I'll tell anybody, make sure your character's together. First and foremost, make sure you're grounded, that you know what your purpose is. Next thing is this one here. Don't think too highly of yourself to not be able to go and get donuts and coffee. Don't go in there, that's what you do. That's called building relationship. If you can't do the little things, how can you tell that football player, that basketball player, They need to do the little things, and they need to dot I's and T's, but you're not willing to. So it's all of those things that make up a good coach. But for me, I tell people, and you need to be innovative. Get out there. If it's me for coaching, I go and do research. I research the best coaches in those lower divisions, because those are where your best coaches are at, in those lower divisions, because when they come up, they're like, oh man, this guy here has a scheme that's out of this world. So I'm going to those type people. I'm doing research. I'm going to programs like, man, this is one of the best programs in there. And I'm going to go to them and say, hey, I'll do it for free. Because you have to make sacrifices. If they say, hey, they'll pay you good. If they're not, I'll do it for free, but I'm doing it with the best. I'm getting underneath them. I'm doing everything they say. I'm taking notes. I'm writing stuff down. I'm watching. I'm learning. And then from there, because of the relationships you build, they will start recommending you, man, I can't pay you, but this young man right here, he's great. I think you could go here and you'll do well. So that would be my advice. And back at you, Rob, the man.
So from the famous words of Coach Dre, you gotta be a great Indian to become a great chief. It's just that simple. So that's the nail that hit the coffin right there. If you can't be a great Indian and understand orders and things like that, it's gonna be hard to be a coach. And be a head one at that and lead people, because you gotta understand what it takes to lead. And you got to become a great chief, a great Indian before you can become a great chief in that sense. But I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all the last word before we get up out this thing, because I know we got some things we got to tend to. So last words, Miss Alexis, and I'm gonna kick it to Uncle Steve. I know Coach Dre just got off, but I'm gonna kick it to y'all before we close this thing out.
Okay, thank you, Rob. I just thank you for letting me join. This is your show, honey. So when I come on people's show, I respect it to the utmost. So whatever they say, go. And so I appreciate you letting me come on and just speak. I love Colorado as well. I really do. I love Coach Prime, and therefore it makes me by default love Colorado right now. I just want to say, lastly, for me, what you all just said to that guy, y'all helping me. I ain't trying to be no coach, but that was some good stuff to tell a person what they need to be, who they need to are, how they need to gather themselves if they want to coach. Because you can bet one thing for sure, Coach Prime ain't just doing Affleck commercials with Coach Saban. You better believe he doing more than that, and he's learning from the best and taking notes. Because no matter how you feel about Alabama, Coach Saban and nobody else, that's the GOAT in college football. Now he didn't fare so well in the NFL, but when he came back to college, he just dominated. Okay, and so you better believe every time them Affleck commercials is over, Coach Prime grab him and send him down. I bet you some money. I ain't even there, but I promise you he is. And then he surrounded himself, in addition to everything y'all said, surround yourself with great people. Understand your weakness. Because I don't care how good you think you are, you got some. And you need somebody that has that strength to be around you, which is what Coach Prime did, with these other coaches and all of that. Don't be so heavily bound that you're no earthly good. You need help. You ain't gonna win this thing by yourself. You just not. I don't care how good you are. Michael Jordan, to me, will be the best player to ever pick up a basketball. I think Jesus will come before somebody else do it as good as he did. But he didn't start winning championships till he got some help. He was hitting 60 points a game, but they were losing. So until you get that also surrounding you, young man, along with yourself, and get people, like-minded people around you that want to win and want to help others, then I think that, to me, what bears. But that's a coach that I can respect outside looking in, whether I want their team to win or not. That's all I have to say, guys. Thanks again.
Thank you for coming on. We appreciate all the women that come on. They want to come on the platform and have a conversation. It's no right and no wrong. But we just like to come up here and have a conversation. And it doesn't always have to be about Colorado. As I see Miss Alexis, she got into Miami, she got into Georgia. Those are the things that, this show ain't just based upon Colorado. I mean, if you got something to say, you want to talk about it, that's what we're here for. That's especially what the Friday shows are for. It's to not just talk about Colorado, but to talk about the entire college landscape of football in general, or if it's anything from the coaching realm, as you've seen, a person asking for advice. That's what we're here for. And we just here to help somebody and bless somebody that, may need some information or some guidance to help them get there. Never feel like you can't reach out to us, because we here. If you just leave a comment or anything like that, we here and we can help you get there if that's what you're trying to do. Go to Uncle Steve, and I'm with Coach Dre closes out, baby.
Well, Rob and Coach Dre, I will say this, and Miss Alexis, I'll say this from here. It's nice that you have that open door policy that I call it, where you open your arms, you and Coach Dre, and you let people speak their piece, but you make sure that those people speak it with respect and dignity. And that's the key. And what you're also doing is you're building relationships. It's nice to see people come on here and be able to speak their mind in a respectful way and voice their opinions and their facts, and to let people see a different point of view. It should never be in life that you only see one side of something, because if you do, you're missing the whole story. As some people would say, Paul Harvey. Now you have the whole story. But with that being said, it's always a pleasure. I look forward to you and Coach Dre and the special guests that you have come up. And it's nothing like the young ladies that come up and educate us, because I tell you, I need that education. My wife does it all the time. She educates me. So thank you, Rob. Thank you, Coach Dre. Thank you, Miss Alexis, and all the wonderful people out there in podcast land. You come on this side of the track, you learn something, and you're treated with dignity and respect. And that's what you want. Thank you, young fellas.
No problem. Appreciate you.
As always, man, it's been a pleasure. It's gonna always be a pleasure when you got the wise man, my Uncle Steve, up here with us, who been down with us since day one. And then to have, like I say, man, I hope the ladies listen to Miss Alexis and not afraid to come up here and talk with us, speak with us. I know Miss D Goddess, she'll come up, and it's other young ladies that don't mind coming up and speaking with us. Like I told you, Uncle Steve hit it on the head. Only thing we ask you to do is be respectful. We gonna keep it positive and uplifting over here, because, like I said, you don't know who life you can touch. That young man asked a question, and that's what it is to be a football coach. I tell people all the time, I don't coach football for the money or for the wins and losses. This is what God wants me to be doing. Touching young men's lives and changing them in any way capacity that God see fit. It's not about me. It's about Him. And so I'm always glad to be on here, especially with my brother. Again, for people who don't know this, me and Rob are not brothers for real. We just met over a year ago. And this thing just took off on its own, and it happened organically. We not here for no money. We not here for no fortune or fame. At the end of the day, in my city, I'ma still be Coach Dre when I get off of this internet. A year ago or so, I wouldn't even been on here. You get what I'm saying? I stay in my little cocoon, in my little world. But to come out here and find another family, and then to be able to help somebody. And that's what I realized. Everybody needs help. Miss Alexis hit it on the head. Don't never get too big, think you don't need no help. And don't never, I'm talking to everybody out here, man. If you need help, ask for it. If don't nobody know you hurting, or don't nobody know you need help if you don't ask. So if you need some kind of help, if you need to, even you have to come on here and try to talk to us on the back channel. If you need some type of help, you just need to talk to somebody, confide to somebody. Coach Prime said we can have bad moments, we can have bad hours, we just can't have bad days. It's too many hours in the day to just have a bad day. And like I always tell y'all, if I send no ships out, no ships will come in. And if there's no contest, nobody can win. Games can't be won if they haven't been played, and prayers can't be answered if they haven't been prayed. I am your man, Coach Dre. That is my brother, Rob the Man. That is my uncle, Uncle Steven. We had a special guest, Miss Alexis, and we appreciate her very much. We'll see y'all Sunday night. Appreciate you.
See y'all Sunday.